Hello, welcome. We are today looking at Resident Evil Revelations 2, Episode 1. There's like 50 colons in that title, but let's go on with it anyway. For those who don't know, that obviously Revelations 2, as you might have guessed, is a sequel to Resident Evil Revelations. Sorry, there's a lot of R's in that title. Which was originally a game that came out on the 3DS. If you remember right, it was... I want to say it was like the first game, or one of the first games to use the Circle Pad Pro, like the dumb fucking like extra, what was it, like an extra analog stick that you could just attach to the side of your 3DS to make it control like a regular controller, if you will. So that you had a left and a right analog stick instead of just a left one or whatever. But that whole thing's dumb, so let's not even go into the Circle Pad Pro. But that was originally on the 3DS. It eventually came to consoles and PC, I believe. So, a couple of years after that. I think it only came to PC fairly recently, actually. But this is a sequel to that. I should probably mention that I haven't played Revelations, not yet anyway. Playing this has definitely made me want to go back and try it, but I never got around to actually playing it. So I don't know if as far as I'm aware, the story doesn't continue on from that. I don't even know if you play the same characters. Obviously you've got Claire Redfield, who's obviously in every Resident Evil game, and her Moira Burton, who is Barry Burton's son, which to anyone who does Resident Evil will probably know who that is, but I'm ashamed to admit I know very little about Resident Evil lore, as I've only played 4 and 5. So yeah, sue me, but yeah. So we've got this weird lockpicking thing, which I can know. It's hard to really illustrate because you have to kind of get around the circle, and when it vibrates non-stop, that means you've got it. And then you just have to hold down one of the triggers. There we go. But it can be a bit difficult to find out where that stuff is. You'll probably also notice that I am fucking packing ammo, like holy shit. But that is only because I am playing what is essentially like a New Game Plus. They don't really call it that, but I basically finished this chapter and I've gone and I've got to replay it, so it carried all my ammo in, so I have a fuck ton of ammo, which normally you do not. Like, I was actually kind of surprised at how sparse some of the ammo stuff is in this game, because I feel like Resident Evil's moved away from that in recent years, especially with like 5 and 6. I mean, 6 had a lot of issues, but it was certainly not a survival horror game by any stretch of the imagination. Whereas this harkens a bit more back to maybe 4, and perhaps even before that, where conservation of ammo was actually a thing. I think it's fair to say that 5 onwards, the game sort of just became for better or for worse, it became an action series. That's kind of when I jumped on board with the series with 5, and I love that game. That game's great, but I know some Resident Evil purists have some reservations about that 5. So we'll just show you a bit of the story, because it's not a very long thing. For those who don't know, it's broken up into chapters. The whole game is. It's like episodic, like a sort of Telltale game or something to that effect. We can actually switch to Moira here and highlight that. That's something we can highlight, right? If we get the angle right? Am I going crazy? Okay, never mind. Yeah, anyway, episodic structure, it's like the Telltale games, etc., but there's not as much of a delay. Like this whole game will be out within a month. There are 4 episodes, I want to say. You can buy it piecemeal. You can buy it one episode at a time for about £5 or $6, or you can just buy the whole thing. It's like a season pass type thing. Oh, this guy's a bit bitch, but We have ammo for days, so it should be a problem. Yeah, take that. Oh boy. Some sort of weird pyramid thing on his head. Oh god. This game's significantly easier with all this ammo. Like, I actually struggled surprising amount, a lot more than I thought I would with this game. Partially because of how little ammo I had and stuff like that. I was only playing on normal, so it wasn't like it was extremely difficult or whatever. I think, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it did seem kind of difficult. But yes, as I was saying, episodic structure. This is the first episode. Oh, that's a weird lighting thing. This is the first episode. There are other 3 episodes. I want to say it might be 5. I think it might be 5 actually. Sorry, I'm not doing too well, but all these weird insect things that show up for a bit. Because why not? I guess I don't know if has Resi ever had bugs. Like, again, I'm not the biggest Resi guy, so I don't really know, but I thought it was more about fake zombie things than weird bugs, but whatever. Come on, let me know. There we go. Now we need to get her to go like this. So yeah, the episodic structure is an interesting way to go about this. Especially with the way that they do, yeah, we know the narrative stuff. Like they make it kind of like a TV show in that every episode ends in a cliffhanger of sorts. I've obviously finished this episode, so I can say that it does end in a pretty good cliffhanger. It's all pretty compelling. We can blind that guy and then smash him with the crowbar. Good stuff. There's probably some stuff over there, but I can't roll it. I don't want to get crushed. Yeah, especially with the way the narrative goes, like, I think the episodic structure is an interesting way to go about it. And the narrative has been pretty compelling. Oh boy. No. Nothing about it looks good.
That should help.
I wouldn't want to get caught up in that. Sorry, I keep getting interrupted. I'm just going to stop here a minute. So, yeah, again, sorry. I feel like it's not a very long episode, this one. It's about an hour. You spend half of it as these two, and the other half as Barry and this girl whose name I forget. This little girl. So it's kind of, you switch between halfway through. So, and the way that the sort of teaser for the next episode went, kind of implies that they'll stick to that sort of formula of half the game is these two characters, and then the other half is the other 2 characters. So that's an interesting way to go about it. There's a guy here, so we're just gonna... Ah! Fuck you, mate. Oh, he's not dead. There we go. That guy was a real fucker the first time. Like, holy shit. It's pretty satisfying to just kill him in the first shot. Or the first attempt, at least. But yeah, it's about an hour. Like, maybe an hour and a half if you sort of fully explore and try and do everything. But again, it only really took me about an hour, about half an hour each way, because it gave me like statistics for the whole thing at the end, obviously. So it's not a hugely long thing, but I think the thing that makes it really worth the small entry fee of like £5 per episode or whatever is because I think this game is just it's fun, it's well made, the narrative's pretty good and all that, but they have this mode called a raid mode, which again, I didn't play the first one, so I don't know if that was in Revelations 1, but it's kind of your equivalent of like Horde mode in Gears of War, some sort of like extra bonus challenge feature that's completely unrelated to the single player or storyline or whatever, so we have to do that. And then we'll get that cog. That guy's not having a good time. So I'll show you that in a minute,
So
but
they were
that's
torturing
I think personally that's what makes it worth the money, because that adds so much more to the overall package, is that raid mode, and that is like co-op and stuff. Although, funnily enough, the PC version does not have local co-op, which might not sound like a huge deal, but I think people were kind of outraged because Capcom promised that all versions would have that, and then they just took it away for some reason, without really saying why, so obviously people weren't very happy about that. So there's some basic, you know, sort of typical of Resident Evil RE4 onwards, I guess. There's like a upgrade component to all weapons. You can upgrade the various stats on the right whenever you find a part. So I don't have anything at the moment, but as you can see, I've already upgraded a number of things for these two weapons, and obviously you get different weapons on different characters, and I'm sure later on you'll get more weapons and stuff. So that's an interesting way. And also, before I forget, is this skill system, the skills tree, which looks kind of intimidating now that I actually look at it, because there's quite a lot of shit. But basically, throughout the story, throughout the campaign, you're earning BP, which you see at the top right. I only have about 700 at the moment, which you get through collecting like gems and stuff, which you might have seen me do. And you get it at the end of a chapter based on your score. Like if you get like an S rank or whatever, you get more than if you got a B, or you know. And at the end of every chapter, you can spend that on any of these upgrades, which I found to be kind of weird, because if you read them, they're really like, they're interesting, but they're so much weirder than you'd think. Like, increased firepower while crouching is a really specific, weird thing that isn't that useful. Whereas that basically increases the time, or decreases the time, I should say, that it takes to heal. That's a lot more useful. But then you get weird stuff like that, which is like knives and throwing weapons, and then evasion's more effective. So obviously some of this later stuff is a lot more effective and a lot more interesting, but some of the early stuff is just weird. Like the use case scenario for some of this stuff is kind of a bit unusual. Like that one. Why would you ever get that? I don't. Maybe I might just get it just because I can't get it right now. But wait, what's that one right at the bottom? Okay, that seems pretty strong. But 100k, is that 100k? Yeah, it is. Jesus. Well, I'm sure that'll carry over into later episodes or whatever, but. So we're in this like penal colony, if you can already tell. Basically the setup was that we were at some sort of extravagant company party for a company called Terra Save, whose fantastic slogan, really excellent stuff, is not every terror has to end in wrist, or arrest, or something, which is just absurd, but I kind of love it. But really, can I? That seems silly. Yeah, we were at some extravagant party. We essentially got kidnapped by these tough men. Bad shit goes down after this, so I think I'll leave this part of the story as it is for now. But you kind of get the. Sorry, yeah, I completely talked over myself, didn't I? Did that again. Like, yeah, you get kidnapped by some crazy people and brought here, and you get injected with something, knocked out, and you don't really know why. And then you got this weird wristband that you can see there. And this weird woman starts talking to you, and it's all a bit weird. Obviously, spooky shit's going on, Resident Evil stuff. So, and also, yeah, that's the herb thing I was talking about. You hold that down, and when it finishes, you will heal. So, that's a pretty streamlined way to feature that, or to implement it. I think we'll just leave the campaign here for now, because like I said, mad shit goes down in a sec, so I don't really want to spoil that. So I will just quickly hop into the raid mode, just to show you what that's all about. So like I said, this is what makes up the value for me. And I actually think this is the most interesting part of the game, or certainly the weirdest. As you'll probably already be able to tell. It's very strange. Yeah, I'm like a Matrix man. Until I pick a character. So, this is obviously all related to the story. You can play as any of these. These are all just characters that I've come across. I don't know who they are, to be fair. But Wesker, you can play as Wesker for some reason, which obviously I do, because why wouldn't you? But he's not even in this game. Oh, not yet, anyway. So that's kind of weird. Like, so basically, you get weapons, and obviously the more you play it, you'll eventually unlock more weapon slots. But you start with just like a pistol, which is that level 1 pistol that I think I got on the right there. And you'll see it later, but whenever you play, you eventually acquire loot during the thing, which is all these different level weapons. So you'll basically get one of each type of weapon. They'll all be the same, but they'll have different levels, which will obviously indicate stats and power and how good they are and stuff. So that's an interesting side of it. It's an interesting twist. And you also get skills like these sort of perk things, which again you acquire through leveling up and the gold currency in the top right. It's a weird thing. It's interesting. I'll just hop into effectively a match here. I've already done a couple of these, so we'll just jump into the fourth one here. No. Okay, let's go. And this is meant to be like a co-op thing. Obviously, there is a co-op focus to this, which is kind of why people were a bit upset when. Well, I say a bit upset when people were angry when they announced that they weren't doing a local co-op thing in the PC version. So, alright, I'm just gonna lower that down because that's gonna really do my head in. For some reason, this mode is way louder than the main game, but anyway, back to it. So immediately you'll see that it's way more arcadey and way less serious than the main game. Obviously, there's no story, there's no overlying narrative. You're getting, you've got like crazy damage numbers flying off enemies, which I think is really cool. You got this loot, they have levels, they've all got like health bars and stuff, like just really weird stuff like that, like really un-Resident Evil stuff in a way. In a series that takes itself pretty seriously, I think. So that's the loot. Like, I have to pay a bit of that gold currency to essentially reveal what that is. Okay. So you'll see in the top right, I have a set number of enemies that are in this level, in this map or whatever, that I will come across. You don't have to kill them all, but if you do, you get a bonus. You get a significant bonus. You get one of the medallions, they call it, like you probably saw before we came in here, that I'd acquired all the medallions so far. So that's for stuff like not healing in a thing, or like I said, killing all the enemies. Actually, there was a loot chest there, wasn't there? So that could be like, I found where there are only one kind of each weapon, so there's only one. Sorry, there's only one shotgun, sniper, etc. For now, at least. Maybe there'll be more later. Again, I'm only in the first tier of challenges, of which there seems to be quite a lot, to be fair. So that might ramp up a bit. Alright guys, like a boss. What's my other weapon now? I've got like an electric ball or something. Alright. Yeah, I think some of this stuff's really interesting. I think especially the loot stuff's really interesting, but like my immediate fear is like, as far as where they haven't done that yet, but my immediate fear is that they're gonna milk this for like microtransactions, because they totally could. Like, it feels like it has a format to where they could honestly do that and get away with it, and that I find that a potentially quite scary concept. Especially with how pervasive that kind of stuff has been in recent years and months. Like, I just wouldn't be surprised to see that in this tile eventually. Again, like I said, as far as I'm aware, there's none of that. But with the way the currencies are structured and the fact that you get loot of different levels that can directly determine how well you do and stuff, there is definitely room for that kind of pay-to-win-esque, what do you call it, microtransactions and stuff, so I sincerely hope not, especially for a lower budget sort of spin-off of the series. That would be really even more shameless than if they put it in the next proper Resident Evil game 7 or whatever, if that ever even comes into fruition. But mind you, 6 sold well, even though it was a business. Although I seem to remember them saying it didn't sell well enough or whatever because they've been ridiculous. But because somehow our game didn't sell like Call of Duty, so therefore it sold bad. Good stuff. Alright. Level 30? No, okay, I was going to say, is that level 33? Or... I feel like the damage numbers are a really weird addition to this. I really like it. I'm a sucker for like damage numbers. I love that shit. But like, I think especially in shooters, I think that's part of what makes Borderlands so satisfying. That it's cool. It's just that every time you shoot something, you know, you get like damage numbers flying off. Alright, so we could finish this thing. We just have to go up there and tap out that coin. But obviously we want to kill the enemies to get the maximum reward. Where's that last fucker? Where are you? There you are, pal. There you go. And now we turn it in, essentially, and we get the maximum reward. And he just shatters that coin because he's cool, because he's Wesker. Again, I don't know if this was in Revelations 1, it might well have been, but it's a really weird and interesting addition to this game. Again, not just because it's like a way more light-hearted, less serious addition to this like really fairly dark, you know, self-serious thing. There's some referential stuff, obviously, you know, you saw with the Claire sandwich stuff, and there's stuff about the Master of Locking or whatever later on, but it's a pretty self-serious game for the most part. Certainly narratively it is anyway. So I think it's interesting they have that kind of like juxtaposition between that kind of crazy, goofy, wacky, just weird thing with this like super serious campaign storyline. Store. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't actually know about this. So I honestly thought that you was just what do you call it? That you just got sorry, one of each type of weapon, but apparently not. So I could get that if I wanted to. And again, it all comes out out of that currency you get in the top right, which I believe you get through playing this mode, but also through the campaign mode with. There are like set challenges and stuff that if you complete, you'll be rewarded with coins and stuff, and like finding collectibles and stuff. You'll be rewarded with that stuff as well. So. I kind of want to test out that weapon now, so I'm gonna hop into another one quickly because they're pretty short as well. God, it's such a weird thing, but I think it's an interesting thing. And the fact that you can just play as Wesker, even though I don't think he's in this game, is just weird, but whatever, I like it. Whoa. Okay, what's that? What? Oh, do I have to defend this? Oh, this is different. I was actually kind of wondering if all of these challenges were just going to be making your way through a short area and killing all the enemies, or if it's going to be something like this. That does a lot of damage. I really like those damage numbers. I think it'd be really weird and funny if they adopted them in the main game. I especially think it'd be funny if 7 had the weird damage numbers. In this super self-serious, grim zombie game, to have these dumb damage numbers flying off. Real video gamey shit. Be pretty funny. One thing I will say is that one of the problems with this kind of, like having this kind of horde mode-y thing with zombies is that or you know, I say zombies, whatever they are, infected, basically zombies, but their AI is like, it's obviously zombie-like, so they're not very fast, they're not meant to be very intelligent, so like you probably saw in that last one, it was, oh god, no. It wasn't so much me trying to survive the thing, it was just basically me going through a shooting gallery of zombies, which is fine. That was, yeah, it's pretty fun in its own right, but it's not particularly hard. Like, I'm kind of glad they introduced some more complicated stuff, more goal-oriented stuff like this, to where there is a larger fail state than just dying, because in those previous challenges, certainly the last one I did, it'd be pretty hard to die, you know, unless you were paying very little attention or just being careless or whatever. So it really does not take long to get a decent set of weapons, as long as you get a decent level. This is a level 4 weapon or something. It does the job pretty handily. I got that assault rifle I was using the last one like almost instantly, so. Also, I will say that the fact that store, or that we just found that store before starting this, makes me even more scared that there's going to be microtransaction-y stuff. If not in this one, then certainly in the next Resident Evil game, full release, I mean. Because this seems like the prime way to do it. Which, I mean, I don't inherently mind. Oh, I missed that. I don't inherently mind it if it's like a co-op thing like this, or you know, either a single player or a co-op thing, because it's not really impacting on other people's enjoyment like it would in a multiplayer setting. Because obviously, like multiplayer, free to play, like pay-to-win shit is the worst, because you know you're just ruining someone else's experience by paying for yours in a way, you know. But or paying more for yours, I should say, you know. But like, it doesn't really hurt anyone if it's free to play, not free to play. If it's pay to win, or you know, includes microtransactions or whatever you want to call it, inherently. But you could maybe make the argument that the fact that they built microtransactions into it maybe implies that they built the game around microtransactions, or certainly this part of it, and the balance of this sort of game mode or whatever, to the point where it could hinder other people's enjoyment because of how it's balanced and how they give you, you know, how they dole out rewards and how they dole out weapons and increasingly higher tiers of weapons and stuff. So, you know, you could maybe make the argument that it does in fact impact on people's enjoyment or whatever, so. You know, maybe I'm just being paranoid. You know, you get that shit all the time in this industry, especially these days. It's hard not to get kind of paranoid about it, but you know, I haven't seen anything unless I've just missed it. So maybe I am just being paranoid, but like, you know, this game mode seems, this whole concept seems ripe for the microtransacting. So, oh god, are we gonna run out of ammo here? Do we have like a, yeah. This could be awkward. What? Alright. Well, I was interested in a little change to things. I didn't know they had the stuff in it, so I'm glad that I actually took a look at that as well. Yeah, look at all those medallions. We've got them all. I'm not entirely sure what the skill points are going towards. I believe it's the like raid mode only skills, not the single player ones, because obviously that's earned through BP or whatever. So. Alright. I think I'm pretty much done here. Again, I didn't really want to show too much more of the story because it's pretty short. Like I said, it took me just over an hour, so you know it's anywhere between an hour and 2 hours. So per episode, obviously, it's a 5-episode thing, so it probably equates to roughly the length of the first Revelations, which I want to say, I believe that's about 10 hours. Again, I haven't played it, so I don't know. But yeah, that's Revelations 2, episode 1. I don't know what the episode's actually called. I don't know if it's actually got a name. I think it does, actually. I just don't know. But like I said, you can buy that piecemeal, one episode at a time, for £5 or $6 each. Or you can buy the season pass and get all of them for £25 or $30, I want to say. Unless I'm mistaken, which I probably am. I'm probably mistaken. And again, that will... this is the first episode that's come out now. They're releasing a new episode every week for the next 4 weeks. So, in theory, unless there's no delays, the entire game will be out within a month. So, look into that, because I think it's a pretty cool game. It's not perfect, but hey, yeah, I like it. See you next time.